Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. And today I'll be doing another match day week of predictions. So let's get into it. But before I get into the video, I just want to say it'd be much appreciated from me to make sure that everyone here subscribes, because I think there are less than 50% of people currently watching my videos right now that are not subscribed. So it'd be much appreciated from me if you'd love to subscribe. But I know there's gonna be some cricket streams coming up very soon for the summer holidays for me. Actually, in fact, there's 75% of people who are not subscribed, and I would absolutely appreciate it from you guys if you could. Please, it'd help me out. It'd help the channel out to grow onto bigger and better things. So let's get into the first game. First game we do have up is Arsenal taking on Everton. And I think that Arsenal are going to win this game. But as we look at the ladder, Arsenal are currently third on the table, and Everton are currently 15th. Everton had a game called off last weekend, so Everton will be more fresh, and Arsenal just obviously came off a Champions League win against Monaco, 3-0. Arsenal, I think they're looking the goods, especially at home. I think this game they'll win 3-0. Arsenal again, I think they are hitting that sweet spot. Even though they did draw to Fulham last weekend, I think that they are hitting that sweet spot now. Arsenal, just after that, in the last international break, they were going through a bad patch of form, and I think that they need that international break, and Arsenal just have not looked out of place since then. Maybe apart from that Fulham game away from home, but I'm going to go with a score prediction of 3-0 Arsenal. I think it'll be a Mikel Arteta masterclass. Next up, we do have Wolves versus Ipswich Town, and Wolves are at home. So I did see that there was a fight with Lamina and Bowen in the Wolves versus West Ham game last week. So maybe that's a sign of temperament getting lost at Wolves. But I think this one will be a draw. Ipswich haven't been on the best form this season. It's the same with Wolves. I think they're both well and truly in the bottom half of the table. They're literally 17th, or they're both in the relegation zone. So this would be a massive 3 points. But I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw here in this match. Next up, we do have Newcastle taking on Leicester. Newcastle came off a loss last week against Brentford away from home. But I think at home they should be able to take on Leicester. I know they do have Ruben Istori, and he's kind of, got them back a little bit with Leicester City. But I think Newcastle, they'll come out at home, they'll play a bit more of an attacking style, and they'll come out and beat Leicester at their home ground. And I think they'll do it 4-0. I think it'll be an absolute battering. Next up, we do have Liverpool versus Fulham, and Liverpool and Fulham have both actually had good seasons, I'd say, respectively so far. Liverpool obviously top of the Premier League. They're absolutely flying with a game in hand over Chelsea, who are currently in second. I just need to mention that. But, so Liverpool are currently 14 games played, 11 wins, 2 draws and 1 loss. So, and this game's at Anfield, so Liverpool would be massive favourites. I thought Fulham were actually doing better than what they are. They're currently 10th. I thought they were like 6th or 7th. But they've won 6 games, 5 draws and 4 losses. But I do think Liverpool, they are absolutely flying, and I don't think this Liverpool train will stop. Yeah, so I think Liverpool win 4-0, or actually no, 4-1. Now we do have Nottingham Forest taking on Aston Villa, and I think that this one is going to be a highly rated contest between two sides that are going or maybe not Aston Villa, but especially Nottingham Forest, basically punching above their weight. Beating Manchester United last week. I know it's it's not the Man United of old, but it's still a massive win to go away at Old Trafford for the first time, and I think it was the first time in their history to ever beat Manchester United away from home. And I think that they'll go into with a bit of confidence going into this one, but I think Aston Villa they've hit a sweet spot just like Arsenal, and I think that this one will be a 2-2 draw. There'll be a lot of goals, bit of flair. I think defenses won't be on top. Nottingham Forest have a good defense, but I think they'll score two. They'll concede 2 goals. Sorry, for the second game in a row. So I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw. We move on and we take a look at what is a really weird rivalry, and a lot of people think that Brighton and Crystal Palace is a rivalry. How the hell is that a rivalry? Because it's just they're not even from the same part of England. I know they're from like the southwest, or like the south of England, but I don't see why this is a rivalry. But Brighton are doing way better than what Crystal Palace are. I think Brighton have sort of fallen off over the last couple of weeks, but I think they'll be expected to bounce back, and I think that they'll win this 5-0, or no, 5-1 actually. I think that they'll absolutely pump in the goals. Crystal Palace will absolutely nowhere near what they used to be. Next up, we do have a real rivalry, and it is Manchester City taking on Manchester United. This is an absolute massive game for both teams. Whoever loses this, maybe not as much for Man City, but it is almost peak if they lose this, because Manchester United are in massive trouble already with how their season's been going, and Manchester City have almost have just derailed really quickly over the last couple of weeks. Man City lost again in the Champions League 2-0 to who was it? Juventus. It was 2-0 to Juventus. And I think Manchester United today won 2-1 over Victoria Plzen, with Rasmus Højlund getting 2 goals. This is an absolute massive game for both sides. But I think I'm going to go out in a shock and say Manchester United 2-1. I think Man City, their confidence is low. And I think Ruben Amorim will have the tactic for Pep Guardiola once again this season, because he did beat them with Sporting. So I'm going to go 2-1 Manchester United. Next up, we do have Southampton taking on Tottenham. And you'd think Tottenham would win this one, but I think Southampton could take it up to Tottenham. Tottenham have not been good recent form. Obviously, they were 2-0 up last weekend against Chelsea, and we all know what happened after that. But I think Southampton, they can take it up to Tottenham, and I think that they can get a draw here. Tottenham, they are absolutely shot, I reckon. Ange Postecoglou, I'm not calling him for Dick to go from Tottenham, but I think I'd rather him stay, not because he's gonna just absolutely turn that club over and make that club look crap, but I think the style of play is working. He just has players that are just indecisive, really. It just, like, even the Tottenham supporters are saying how stupid their players are, and I think it might need a couple more transfer windows though for this team to start working. But I am going to go with a draw. I'm going to go with 2-2. I think Tottenham will bottle it once again. Next up, we do have Chelsea taking on Brentford. And obviously we know where Chelsea are. They're currently second. I think Brentford are currently in the top half of the table. I think they're in ninth. Or they are in ninth, actually. So, obviously, Brentford won last week, same as Chelsea. But I think Chelsea won in more dramatic fashion. Let's just say that Chelsea won in more dramatic fashion, being 2-0 down against your big rivals, and we came back and won. But, and away from home, massive result away from home, especially at Tottenham. But I think this is different this time around. I think Brentford are much difficult side to break down than Tottenham. Whereas, you know, Brentford, I think there's actually an interesting stat about these guys, is that they've actually never won a game. Like they haven't won a game away from home yet this season, but every time they're at home they win. So luckily we're not playing them away from home for us. So yeah, I'm gonna go. Hopefully this does happen. I'm gonna go with Chelsea to win 3-2, because I think Brentford do score a lot of goals. They're not as boring as what what they've been in previous years. So I'm gonna go with a 3-2 to Chelsea. Come on, Chelsea. We have got the last game of the game of the round, and it has Bournemouth taking on West Ham, and God, do West Ham need a win. They are in absolute massive trouble. They would need to win this game for Lopetegui to keep his job for at least another week. But Bournemouth, they have beaten Man City, they've beaten Arsenal, they've beaten Tottenham. So you'd be thinking they'd be rocking this game with full confidence going to winning this. But I think that they will get a draw. I think Bournemouth will make a couple of bad mistakes, I got a feeling, from their defence, and cough up a couple of goals and make it 2-2. And also West Ham coming off massive confidence last week against, who was it? Wolves. So thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and also put some of your thoughts and comments of these games down below. And also, yeah, subscribe so you can help me out as a channel to grow. And thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.